Lafayette, Mandala, Baby Fuhuye, Baby Warrior Black Panther in the building. Appreciate everybody.
Hey, boy.
Sister Ayoka's in the building. How you doing, sis?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Everything is all good. We waiting on Baba Ade to pull up. But I hope everybody is doing well. Thank you all
Yes.
for tuning in and all that great stuff. It's Ose Ogun, so you know
Oh yeah.
the Ogun children are here.
Yes.
Oh man. So we took a poll not too long ago, and
Mm.
people responded with some topics. So we took a few of those topics today, and we're going to talk about those topics from an Isheshe perspective, traditional West African Orisha perspective. Well, while we wait on Baba Ade, because I'm curious to know, because being our audience should know, we come from a couple different lineages.
Yes.
So I'm curious to know, in Abeokuta, Nigeria, what is their posture towards women approaching shrines while they're on their cycle?
Yeah, I heard this topic plenty of times. I heard a couple people's take on it. Me personally, in my lineage, there's nothing that was told to me against it. um, Nothing taboo for my lineage about that. Um, I've heard other people speak on it where they say, oh, they shouldn't touch or deal or give offerings while on their cycle. Um, but that's for my lineage, no. I Whether I'm on or not, I'm giving offerings, giving my prayers, doing my O'Shea days. I have not been told anything otherwise. So, but I can't speak to everybody else's lineage or their practices. I just know for in Abeokuta, we don't in my lineage, the Akiwande lineage, we don't have anything against that.
Okay. Similar. Shogbo, we're not told that women cannot approach their shrines while they're ministrating. The
Hmm.
only thing that I have been told as far as women and menstruation goes is primarily with medicine
Mm.
and certain medicines. Let me get Baba Ade in here. There you go. Hey, God,
Oh, Kylo, how you feeling, my brother?
I'm good. I'm good. What about yourself?
Doing good, doing good.
You gotta go throw your outfits on. Both of y'all in color. I know we was dressing today. I would have put mine on.
Look, it's all right. Look, we got plenty of episodes to go through.
I'm advertising. I guess I'm advertising. Shameless plug, Mossiwarriorclan.
There
But
you go. There you go.
hold on.
Bam.
Hold
That's what
on.
I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
I got a hat just in case. This is the Ori work hat.
Ah,
It's the Ori work hat. You gotta pull out the hat when you're doing that Ori work.
yep.
If you're good hat, you gotta have a backup hat.
Yes, you do.
So, Baba, we were talking about the posture for women approaching shrines on their administration. What's your perspective on that, Baba?
I mean, honestly, I'm someone who's not afraid to say when I'm not well versed on the topic. My very basic knowledge is that in our lineage, there's no Ifa taboo when you're in your cycle. There's no Eshu taboo when you're in your cycle. But there are certain other Orisha who have taboos. But I'm gonna say honestly, it's limited. I have limited knowledge on that, and sometimes it's something that we as men don't necessarily have to think about, but I think we should be, well versed on it, especially if we're going to be teaching people and having students. So this is a topic that I want to get a little bit deeper into myself, but that's the basic knowledge in terms, to be able to tell my students, hey, with Ifa, Eshu, you're good. With certain other Orisha, refrain.
That's a good point, because as men, there's some things don't even enter our airspace, But if you're going to be a teacher or a priest or even have people come to your shrine, you need to know certain things, certain restrictions that may come along with other genders, so to speak. In my lineage, there's no taboo about a woman approaching any Orisha shrine while she's ministrating. The only thing, like I was starting to say, is it's mainly with medicines. That women that are ministrating are told to avoid touching, because women, while they are on their cycle, can depower certain medicines. So I believe where it may have started is, given certain Odu that may come up, a person may be told to put a certain type of medicine with their Ifa. So I believe that may be the case where some people have certain medicines in their Ifa. So they may have told, don't touch anything. As a woman was on their ministration, because they have certain medicines that go and stay with their Ifa. So I believe that may be where that comes from. But as a general rule, it's not taboo. In my in the lineage with Oshogbo, it's not taboo. Approaching Ogun, it's not taboo. I've heard people say that ministrating women can depower shrines. We don't have that concept. These shrines are for the Orisha. They certainly not afraid of blood.
Yes.
So certainly that cannot be the case. But I've really heard it more in the diaspora, but I think it may have an Isheshe root if someone had certain type of medicines on their shrines, and maybe it was a misconstrue of why. Because sometimes you don't get the full explanation as to why you being told, hey, you can't do that. You just kind of go, oh, okay, I don't want to, I just and that be it. But I really think that may be the root that has grown legs other places.
Right.
So now you got women not coming to their shrines during Osei because of whatever. I would say check with your Luo and ask thorough questions, because
I agree.
You don't want to miss too many Osei days.
No.
Especially if you're initiated, or as I like to say, married to that Orisha.
Yes, exactly.
And for those that are watching, it is a marriage. When you get initiated, you are marrying that deity. You are becoming joined together, and no matter your gender, don't take no offense, but you the wife. I was the wife. Ade was the wife. Sister Ayoka was the wife. We all was the wife. That's why we are called Iyawo for a certain period of time. Iyawo meaning wife, because it's a marriage, and you're gonna have to cultivate that relationship with the Orisha to make a marriage work, just like you got to cultivate relationship with your spouse, So when I put it that way, and I say, so you don't hug or talk to your spouse when you're on your period,
right? That's when you need it the most. Well,
Yeah.
look, it's a lot going on when that time of the month. It's really, and I just want to speak to, like, yeah, men overall do not have to, really be in the realms of thinking of these concepts, but I think it's still very important, especially if you have daughters. I think even though you may not think of it, for yourself, but if you have a daughter or multiple daughters, it should be a thing that's to be taught, to be recognized, to be learned, and even teaching your sons, to be understanding of their sisters, where that communication may happen, just in case it is a taboo or something like that, where, it's a family thing, people getting together for O'Shea Day, and all of a sudden she's like, oh no, or, your son could ask, oh, is your time in the month, or even you as the father, just to be, aware of that. So, I think it's still very important as men to still be aware of those taboos, and be aware of, wife, sister, mother, daughter, just in case, nothing is, being broken or anything like that.
Agreed. Agreed. I know specifically with Egungun, women that have not gone through menopause get a different initiation than women that have.
Yes. Hmm.
And I don't particularly know all the difference. I think the term something about Ia Agan or something like that is thrown is when you get initiated one way, and there's another term when you get initiated the other way. Uh,
Mm.
so I definitely know that to be a contributing factor to how they are initiated if they go to a gungun. So you're right. There's no way around it. We need to learn as
Hmm.
priests those type of idiosyncrasies that we have
Hmm.
to look out for in order to do good work and not offend the Orisha and things like that. Definitely. Uh,
I agree wholeheartedly.
well, let's get the topic that a lot of
Hmm.
people, the lie that will not die. In your estimation, Baba Ade,
Hmm.
what do you think about this? Issue is the devil's stuff that they say on the internet. Issue is Satan. Issue is the devil. Issue is evil. What's your take on that, Baba?
Man, that's such a great question. Um, there's a lot that I think about that. I would say, hold on, give me 1 second. Let me just adjust my volume real quick. Um, okay, give me 1 second, brother. Let me just
Okay.
can you send me the live link so that way I can share it with some people too to join? I know.
Yeah, yeah. I'm how you want me to send it to you?
Instagram if you don't mind.
Yeah, because you got them green bubbles.
Yes, I just want to.
Oh man, where'd I put it? Where'd I put it?
Because I was sitting here trying to find the live. Before I get into that deep question, I'm sitting trying to find the button to share the live link with
Okay.
people. I'm having trouble finding it.
Got you.
I'm back.
I was about to check on you. I was like, where'd she go?
Yeah.
Where'd she
Sorry
go?
about that.
So
Oh, good. All right. I'm about
Well,
about to put it in our group chat.
okay, so once you do that, I'm gonna wait to answer the question until let me just share this live link really quickly.
oh, it was shit. Oh, nice. Okay.
People.
Yep. Coming your way now.
Bam.
Okay.
And like and share the live. Please, y'all, like, share, subscribe if you ain't.
But I will say this. In certain like closed off practices and traditions like Ogboni, there could be things a bit different where they may emphasize that even more if a woman's on her menstrual. Certain things like that, they can't touch certain things, see certain things. So I will speak to that too. So you might have your lineage, which says one thing, but if you're a part of a closed off practice like
A
Ogoni,
different practice.
it'll be completely different. Yep.
A practice with their own rules. Let's put
Yes.
it like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Understood. Yeah. And every Orisha has their form of, in-house operations, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
like for example, if you're giving kola nut to a deity, and for whatever reason, let's say you pass around the 3 lobes, and you hand one lobe to, let's say, Obatala,
Yeah.
and that lobe happens to be a female lobe. I don't think it's a big deal, is it? I'm not an Obatala worshiper. I don't think that's
No, I never heard. I never heard it. Mm-mm.
I don't know.
right. So that's a big deal to Ogun people. We can't leave, at least in my lineage, a female lobe to Ogun by itself. Now you compare it with another lobe, another male lobe, but just a female lobe is one of those taboos. So every Orisha got they thing, like, you can't do that.
Right. I will say I think it also is different too with lineages, because it may have one thing overall, but then when you see different lineages, it's like, oh, it may be a little different, even with the same Orisha.
Absolutely.
In that lineage, that may be accepted, or it's not even thought of, or it's not like a taboo or anything like that.
Right. Definitely with these Shay, you got to keep an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
You go down the street, they doing something that you ain't seen, in your town. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just
right.
This practice is very versatile. It's very, expansive. It's it'll be a general thing. I mean, even I learned some things, even seeing how you divined Baba Ade when we were at your parents' house, seeing how you divined, and I noticed the differences there. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, but they made sense to me. But it was just something I didn't do. But I was like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was just observing, like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's one of those things.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I agree with the consensus about not painting Isheshe with a broad brush. You just have to leave room for the fact that people do things individually, not just by town and like town, but also within the same town. People have ways of doing things. You could be in Oshogbo, and you could be in one family, and they do slightly different things too. And I think for all of us, there'll be some unique aspects of the way that we do Ifa, or the way that you do Ogun worship. There will be the Ogun Jimmy way, and I think that's okay too. But no, to answer the question, so to make sure I understood the question correctly, it was, what are my thoughts on this whole issue being correlated with the devil topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Eurocentric Christian paradigm is very dichotomous, right? It's one or the other. It's good or evil, right? And I think that an entity like Eshu does not fit cleanly into a Western paradigm like that, right? And I think for that same reason is why Eshu is such an important deity to us, right? Like I view him kind of like the undercover police officers that you have in the movies, right? Like Denzel from Training Day or different things like that. Like, minus obviously Denzel's character flaws, but the same reason he doesn't fit cleanly into the Western paradigm, because he's neither one or the other, is the same reason why he's the most important for us. Because Eshu is able to, on our behalf, go between the positive and the negative forces. He's able to go between the right, the positive forces, and go between the left forces, and go between the left, the negative forces, which is why we can do that ball. And Eshu can take it, and he's comfortable. He's like that undercover officer. He's comfortable. He can go in the realm of the Ajogun, the negative forces, and he can give them their share, do what they need to do. he can exist on this side, you know. So I think Eshu plays such an important role of being able to go between either side, and for that reason, he doesn't fit cleanly into the Western paradigm. And I think that when, you know, Europeans began to interact with Yoruba people, scholars like Samuel Ajayi Crowther, when he is attempting to translate a Eurocentric concept like the devil, there's nothing like that in many African traditions, nothing like that at all. So I think the closest thing was like, okay, maybe it's Eshu, but completely different. You know, Eshu is able to go between the right and the left, the positive and the negative, and that's why he plays such an important role. You know, like you're not gonna send no shade to my all Batala, me being all Batala devotee, all Batala the Orisha of white cloth and purity is not gonna be able to go. I'm not gonna be able to give him his offering, and he's gonna go give the Ajogun a share. He's not gonna be able to do that. He don't get down and dirty like that. And so the last thing I'll say is that if you can now see that demonizing Eshu is a demonization of our entire culture and practice. If you demonize an entity that's so important and so critical like Eshu to our whole Ebo process, everything, right? Our whole you know, placating the Ajoguns, things like that, then you pretty much done demonized our whole culture. So I do think it was an effort to just kind of like gut our culture, you know, straight from the middle. So that's my thoughts.
But I was gonna add to that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I overheard, or I don't know where I read this from. I don't know if it's correct, but I think it also came down to as simple as improper translation of who she was versus it being translated to, I guess, the Yoruba language to the English language, and it just simply they didn't know how to properly, it, you know, describe who she was. So they just, you know, connected it, oh, devil. And I think people just ran with it, not understanding that it was a misinterpretation, mis what translation of what SU meant and what SU is.
I would say it was malicious. I would say it was malicious because when you
Because the
study,
guy, I forgot his name. The guy
yeah,
was, I
Samuel
think,
Adai
Christian
Crowder,
based. Yeah, he was Christian based, so that's
yeah,
why.
he was
Yeah.
a Christian man. He wanted to bring Christianity to the Yoruba people. So he wanted to translate the Bible to Yoruba. So you know, they would be, you know, Christians. But my thing is, okay, you want to make Satan Eshu, all right. But there were no other Orisha who were superimposed to biblical characters. Like Jesus
Mhm.
didn't become Orumila, you know, like
Mhm.
Obatala didn't become John the Baptist, you know. He didn't do that with any other Orisha but Eshu. So that says to me you had some knowledge of
Yeah.
what Eshu was. Maybe it was incorrect knowledge or whatever it may have you, but he did it maliciously and superimposed Eshu on the evil side.
Mhm.
People
Mhm.
look at him in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like Baba Ade said, when you're coming from that Christian lens, it's very hard to interpret and understand what our deities actually do. Um,
Mhm.
but if you read enough Oriki about them, you'll know a lot about them. You know, like
Mhm.
so, you know, in Eshu's Oriki, it says, Bebo Bebo Olapa Edumare. So it says that he's the owner of Olodumare's staff. And what it's talking about here is his authority that Olodumare gives him to move through time and space and give offerings here and meet with the malevolent and the benevolent. And
Mhm.
his freedom to just block pathways and you know, make trick his enemies and all of that is
Mhm.
freedom that Olodumare has afforded him because he is a necessary part of this society. So, you know, when Baba Ade talks about an attack on him is attack on our whole culture. I never really thought of it that way until now. But that's 100% true if you think about all the things SU is a part of.
Mhm. Mhm.
For the audience, when you look at an Oponi Fa or our circular trays which we divine on, that faces SU. He's monitoring the Ebo. He's monitoring the divination process. He's monitoring the Ebo process. He is like he is so essential to our culture. So to demonize him, like you demonized a whole lot of our culture doing that. I mean,
Exactly.
even before we come to Earth, we passed the Ogigi stone, which is said to be a representative of Eshu. So it's like you can't remove him. And I've seen people try. It's so funny because that demonization of Eshu even went past Christians. It affects
Yep.
practitioners too. There's
Yep.
practitioners that try to avoid Eshu. As crazy as that sounds, I've heard some, and I've had to try to reason with them. I'm like, dude, you can't do that. And
Yeah.
they feel uneasy around children of Eshu. Like they like, oh, he's a child of Eshu.
Yeah.
Which is so unfortunate because when you really go into depth on who Eshu is and understand him, Eshu is the owner of the crossroads. Like, if we want manifestation of prayers, if we want manifestation of blessings, if we want manifestation of elevation, if we want any type of manifestation, it has to be communicated to Eshu first. Like Eshu is the one who translates it and gets it on the right path. So there's no way you can avoid such a powerful force that way. And it's really all up into like your own character. So if you're afraid, then you gotta not to judge anyone, but you gotta correct yourself because he expects people just to come correct because just like we want him to trick others and not trick us, we gotta come correct.
Right. I always tell people
Yeah.
Eshu tricks people that they ain't right. That's why you got tricked.
You're absolutely right. I mean, one of my brothers who's a Lukumi Babala, he always says, and it came out again because Osai Lobe came out for a client, Osai Eshu, and he was, and him being a child of Eshu, how did he say it? He said Eshu is the best friend of the person who takes care of him and the worst enemy of the person who doesn't take care of him. And I was like, you know what? I like that. And also, today is our Uluo's birthday. And so
Hey,
he divined for himself today. And then the Odu that came out for him was Ogbeate. And we were just talking earlier about a story from Ogbeate about how Eshu is the best friend of Oromila. And so, adding to this idea that demonizing Eshu is demonizing our whole culture, there's no Ifa practitioners, no Ianifa, no Babalao who can operate without Eshu. And the whole story goes, just to summarize in a few sentences, it's the story where Oromila faked his death to know who his true friends were.
Yep.
So he faked his death and he hid in the attic. And so they delivered the news that Oromila was dead around. And all these different Orisha came by, crying crocodile tears. No offense to Shango, no offense to Ogun, the rest of them, but they all came by. Ogun came by. He's like, oh my God, Oromila's dead. And he's like, but wait a second. Oromila promised me he was going to leave me this possession. And then Shango came by. Oh my God. So they all the Orisha came by crying crocodile tears, looking to kind of get something out of it, so to speak. And Oromila's upstairs in the attic listening to all of this. And it was only Eshu who came by and was truly, sad, not trying to get anything out of it. And so Oromila realized, like, hey, because at first, he was like, I don't know about that guy, Eshu. I don't know about him. He's always coming to the festivals. I don't know about him. But through him faking his death, he was able to see that Eshu is his one true best friend. And to this day, there's no Babalao, no Ianifa you can see that doesn't have their Ifa, doesn't have their Eshu or Eshus, plural, right?
yes.
It's a demonization of our entire culture. To try to take Eshu out of the equation, there's no air ball. There's no, it's nothing,
And when you look at, each Odu, or like I'm pretty sure your specific Odu, my specific Odu, Ade's specific Odu, like Eshu is implemented in each and every one of these Odus, like especially when it comes to bowls, when it comes to, this person walking a path, like Eshu is implemented in each and every one of them.
No way getting around it. I see Sister Mari Shai is talking about, the crossroads and what's wrong with that. There's also a history of in the diaspora, like blues singers talking about, meeting the devil at the crossroads.
Yeah.
So that adds to it. It wasn't until I was older where I realized that they were talking about either Eshu or an Eshu-like deity uh,
Mm-hmm.
at the crossroads. Because if you really listen to their music, you're like, oh wait, hold on. He's not talking about no devil from no Bible. Hold on,
No.
this is something else. So that
Not if they got a gift from it too. Not if this is
right.
where their blessings came from.
Right, and you even what's the singer? Howlin' Wolf, from the
Mm.
blues singers back in the day. They said that he went to the crossroads and this entity taught him how to play the guitar. He been howling at the moon ever since. And
Mm-hmm.
all those type of legends from these blues singers, like is not a coincidence, this type of deity is in a lot of different traditions.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's something that has grown legs. But on the other side, people will say this is funny because people will also say that Eshu is Jesus. Have you heard this argument before? So they will say, well, he's at a crossroads. You can't spell Jesus without ESU.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Oh, and I guess do they connect? Is it a Warren Shogbei that talks about Jesus?
I think that might be the old dude where he went to go gain followers.
I can't remember. I thought maybe they were trying to draw that connection, the Warren Shogbei. I don't know.
And they were like, he's like the son of God. He has all this authority. He can move. And I said, this is exactly what Eshu wants. To confuse people. Because one thing I know about Eshu is the most non-conforming deity you will ever meet. And what I mean by that is Eshu is not here nor there. He's neither. He wearing red. He wearing black.
Yep.
He is in yesterday. He's in today.
He's old. He's young.
He's in the Orun. He's in the If you ask Eshu, is he a man or a woman? He's gonna say depending on what day it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And who's asking?
Because they have some statues as Eshu as a woman.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like there are different towns in Nigeria that he has different depictions. Like there's like he don't conform to anything, and that's playing that both sides. Like he'll be what he needs to be. He'll go where he needs to go. He'll do what he needs to do. So he's the most non-conform. So I said so. People putting him on devil and Jesus is just like Eshu.
That's true.
Laughing.
Yeah, and just for the people watching, because I know y'all both made excellent points. A story to just highlight how Eshu works. I think about, is it from Ugbe Alara, which speaks about Jegbe, was a hunter. And basically, he was the son of a king. I maybe remember some details incorrectly, but he went to the bush, and first he caught, I think, an elephant. So let me rewind. So for people listening who want to understand how Eshu operates, because y'all made some excellent points, but to demonstrate a story that talks about that. I think it's from Ugbe Alara, a guy named Jegbe. He went to Ifa. He was told to do a ball. He didn't do it. He went to go hunt. He caught an elephant or something like that. Because the elephant you can't carry back to the town by yourself. Because he didn't do that ball, he caught the elephant, and then when he comes back to the town to tell people, "Hey, everybody, I got an elephant," Eshu appears and turns the elephant into a stone. So then when he comes back with the whole town, he's like, "I caught an elephant." They're like, "What elephant?" I remember this. Then I think the next time he still doesn't do the air ball. The next time he catches a buffalo or something, he says, "Okay, this time I'm gonna leave like a one of my younger siblings or someone there to watch the buffalo." As soon as he turns around to go back to the village to tell everybody, "Look, y'all, I wasn't lying. I caught a buffalo." Eshu turns into an elder, and when you're by culture, you can't resist a command from an elder. And Eshu sends the boy on an errand, and then again makes the buffalo disappear. The guy comes back, no buffalo there. Everybody's like, "Man, you're a liar.
I'm sick of you."
And it wasn't until, and so that kept happening. It wasn't until he came back, he finally did the air ball. Something works out. Long story short, he ends up running into like some soldiers that were traveling and then founding his own town and becoming a king. Long story short, once he finally did the air ball. So I say that to say, in this story, is Eshu inherently evil? No, he's not. You were told to do air ball. You didn't do it. No. Right. So if you had done the air ball, you would be on the side of being blessed by Eshu, because there are equally as many stories when Eshu. I'm gonna share one more story, but there's equally as many stories where Eshu supports the person as there are when Eshu tricks the person. This is just one example. Do it like you said, Iya. Do what you got to do. You're gonna be on the right side of Eshu. I'll give one last story. There was one story I cannot remember the Odu. Orunmila was in a battle with the clairvoyants, right? These people that can see. Right, and this also speaks to the power of that ball. And I think some king or something brought them together to do a challenge. And one of the challenges was, tell me how many people are in this room. I think maybe
I heard this
30 or something like that, right? And the clairvoyants were accurately able to see, hey, it's 230. Orunmila, who went to Ifa first, did the air ball, says, no, it's 231. I may be getting the exact number wrong. And as he says that, the clairvoyant starts to laugh. But because Orunmila did air ball, Eshu appears, and there was a pregnant woman amongst them. Eshu makes the woman give birth instantly. And so now they're 231, and Orunmila is right. So I give those two stories of people who are on the good side of Eshu and the bad side. There's nothing evil about how he operates. You do what you got to do. You'll be on his good side. And he can, like you said, he can appear in a different place in time, space, and move the order of your name on a pile of resumes so that yours is at the top. When the other side, he can be that person that makes your resume fall in the trash because you didn't do that.
And it speaks to what you're saying, like, because we can ask Eshu to trick our enemies and not trick us, right? But we have to also understand there are other people who are asking the same thing to trick us. So I think even besides Ebo, you always said the biggest and most the biggest Ebo you can ever do is good character. Because someone can do their Ebo and be like, oh, trick my enemies, and I may be someone's enemy, but however, I'm following good character. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I don't even see what's going on. I'm not even inflicted on any tricking, nothing, because my character is speaking for myself. I didn't even have to do Ebo per se. My character was the Ebo.
That's a good point, because we don't want to paint the picture that a wicked person can give 30 goats to Eshu and a good person gives 10, and somehow the wicked person will. That's not how Eshu works out. I think that's a good point, that there is character and righteousness that plays. Yes, Eshu is this person that whoever pays him, he'll support. But I do agree with your point. Like, it's not just simply wicked people don't last in this tradition, no matter how much Ebo they do, no matter how much they do. That's a good point.
Yep.
Nope, you're going to have eventually your time will run out because, people that are wicked in this tradition, they want everything fast. So, they do a lot of work. But eventually it's going to be that time you can't do the work.
Yeah.
Or you can't get to no charms or something's going to happen. You're going to be out there naked. And that's all your deeds are going to come back to you, so it's always important to keep that character in mind. And the last thing I'll say about Eshu is they say Eshu can throw a rock today and hit you yesterday.
I like that. I'm gonna steal that one. I like that one.
That is what my old guy taught to me. Shout out to Ogundiran. But
I like that one.
Moving on, what about these self-initiates that are flooding the social media streets saying, Iya Ayokai Baba Day, you wasted your money and your time. You could have just meditated and downloaded that information from the universe. And I don't know why y'all giving these people y'all money, because you can just self-initiate. It's our birthright.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need no training.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a self-initiated master.
Man,
And that's what it is.
That's a
Shango
good
Alpha
question.
King #1 on Instagram.
That's a good question. I mean, I talked about this topic a while ago, and someone reached to correct me to say that there are some African traditions, such as in Sankoma tradition, and some traditions where it's not you initiating yourself, where the spirits initiate you, where you things like that. So outside of those, right? I'm all the people that do stuff like that.
That's still not self-initiation.
It's still the spirits initiating you. But with that disclaimer, I want to give that disclaimer because every time I bring this up, you know, that them comments come up. But no, I mean, I think people confuse the idea that initiation is somehow giving you your connection to the Orisha completely. It's not. We all have a natural connection to the Orisha, but initiation and training is important. No different than, you know, you could naturally be a gifted healer. But why do you go to medical school? Like, right, you could have a knack just for healing people. Why do you go to medical school? Why do you do these initiatory rites and training processes? You're doing it to be able to, number one, benefit from the knowledge of those who have come before you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like, yes, I may have my natural healing ability, but, you know, thousands of years of humanity have created systems and tools. Hey, a scalpel with this, you know how to use this, an x-ray machine, this, that. I'm benefiting from all of that knowledge, right, to be able to better hone my skills and kind of focus them. So I view initiation the same way. You can be naturally connected to the Orisha as much as you want, but initiation is giving you medicines and things like that that are going to help hone that connection and ability. And not just initiation, because initiation is the beginning, but also the training that comes with it. So I think people think, oh no, I already have that connection. Why am I paying someone else to give it to me? You're not paying someone else to give you the connection. You're paying someone else to help you hone that connection and benefit from millennia of wisdom and systems that work, that have been put in place so that you can be even better with your connection, right? I might naturally be connected to Obatala, but now I have this initiation. I have medicine in my head. I have this shrine that I can work with. I have the knowledge that I'm learning. You know, it's just adding to what I already have. So I think people do this dichotomy between either you already have it or you're paying someone else to get it. No, you're strengthening your voice, whatever the word is, what you already have.
I agree because I think it's also a disservice to yourself and your own destiny and your own spiritual walk. Because yeah, you can find out through an idafa that, oh, you're a child of this, right? Okay, so you can learn, you can, you know, dissect through this, whatever, go to the river, go whatever, whatever, and that's fine. But there needs to be a fortification, like you said, that is done by a certified Babalawo Yanifa who has the spiritual discipline, who has the spiritual connection, who has done the work to fortify spiritually that connection for you, because that initiation is like I hate to say, like a check on the box for you to elevate, for that elevation that you're supposed to be having on earth. So if you do not do that, it's like, yeah, it's a nice offering, but there's no way for them to bless you. There's no way for them to assist you. There's no way for them to help you with this, and that in the areas that they were designed to, because you have not made the step to do that fortification of initiation. And that's what the biggest part I think people miss. And I can only speak to myself. Like, I did defy initiation. During my initiation, I'm told, you know, yes, even before I knew I was a child of Shango, but I'm also told, you know, I have to do, you know, be connected with my Ori, have to do Shango initiation, have to do Egbe initiation, have to do EME initiation, have to do all these other initiations. And the ones I've done so far, I see the difference. I see how important the initiation for my own specific destiny, because we all have different ones, but I see where in certain challenges in my life where, okay, I've gotten the wisdom from Ifa, but like, you know, now I can tap into Obatala for a different perspective, or certain areas in my life where Obatala shows up for me that helps me more than Shango would, or better, and he's better suited for this situation than Ogun. I can go to Ogun because I'm initiated to Ogun or Obuluwaye. It's like I needed these things, especially what I do and how I move in this world spiritually, not just physically here, but spiritually. I need that to be fortified for me in order to even tap in, to actually ask, give offerings, and then receive it in the end. Because you can give, but what are you receiving? That's why you need that connection in order to receive it. Like they want to give it to you, but we all know there's rules to this. You have to do these certain things in order to actually receive the blessings that is specific for your own destiny.
That's true. I say the people that believe in self initiation and they, and Baba Ade, you have hit on these points in your videos online. They all have one thing in common. They all got something to sell you. They all got something to sell you. It's always, I learned this. Let me go start selling spiritual baths. Let me start selling this. Let me start promoting this. I give readings now. And it's not only is it spiritual laziness, it's money based. You're trying to become somebody in this community so you can create this new hustle and this new venture capital pursuit for yourself. That's your goal. You're not trying to elevate your life. You're not trying to get closer to an African spiritual system. You're not trying to gain knowledge from your African ancestors through their lens. You're trying to create a revenue stream. That's what you're trying to do. And that's why you want to go through this so quick. That's what it is. Because they get attached to foreign practices first through however means it is introduced. And some people just come along in this tradition to learn a little thing so they can Africanize what they're already doing. So if they reading the planets at night by looking up at the stars, they want to learn terms like Supat, that's what they call the moon. And they just gonna put that into what they say. So when they can talk to clients, they can say they can use these terms and they use them as buzzwords to try to get people to legitimize themselves. I've seen it happen over and over. That's why I'm not a really big fan of like workshops that teach divination because people you don't vet these people first of all, and they just show up and let's say it's a cowrie shell divination class, and they just show up and they looking and they ain't never seen cowrie shell divination before, and they showing up and they looking like, oh yeah, the pointers and this, and then they leave that class and it's gonna go up that afternoon. I'm giving readings. You're like, one class? You don't even know the old dudes. Like, but
And
that's what they do. They're trying to create
yeah,
revenue stream. So of course, they not trying to spend money on initiation. They trying to make money off of the They try to make money. They try to spend money to learn. And it's very disrespectful to all of the priests and priestess and herbalists and storytellers and wood carvers and drummers and everybody else that has put so much time and money and effort and travel and energy into learning all these different things, because everybody's not a priest. Everybody's not called to be a priest, but he might be a master drummer. And as we know, the master drummer sometimes got the most information in the room because they got to know the Odu, the rhythm of the Odu, the story of the Odu, how to play it on this doom doom, and everything else. So it's so disrespectful to people in our culture because they have put in the time, and here you come just trying to skip the line. And you wouldn't do this if this was a European practice. Let's be if this was surgery, you wouldn't be online talking about, man, you don't need to go to the doctor for that MCL. I got you. Come on over to my house.
Self-decreed.
Yeah, today. Like you wouldn't do
Yeah.
that. But since it's spiritual, it's something about people when they hear it's spiritual, they think it's easy. They think, oh, I can just get it real quick. This is
Right.
work.
I feel like for a lack of a better comparison, it's a Western way of thinking because, and I speak to this as like that Christian base, and I'm speaking to this because I grew up Christian. So like, it's a thing where because in Christianity you just come as you are. You don't really have to pay really much money, and you pay tithes or give. You give
Whatever
what
you
you
can do.
can,
Here's what
right?
you
And
can.
you come as you are. You just come and be dedicated because you're coming. It's the dedication in coming. That's it. So it's like I don't think they have left that concept completely, and they find and pick and choose the things that they do like when it comes to spirituality versus religion, because religion is so up in the air and people lying and being scammers and all that. So they want to pick and choose over here. And it's like, oh yeah, I like this and that. Click submit, hit the check box, check out box, pay their money, and then be like, hey, this is what it is. You don't have to go as far as that. We could just because it's with us. It's in us. We can do this, and yeah, but it's a bit more when you think about it, because what people don't realize, even coming from Christianity or any other religion based different from what we practice, it's actually strict, more strict. You actually have to be dedicated, not to really anyone else, but you have to be dedicated to your taboos. You have to be dedicated to offerings. You have to be dedicated to, a unify. You have to be dedicated to, the ones that you initiated to. It's really dedication that plays on, healing traumas that you deeply have that you know that you have to do, because those taboos are so intertwined with those things for elevation. You can't just say, oh, like me cursing. I can't be like cursing one day and like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do better if I knows my heart. Absolutely not. If I'm gonna be like, you either stop or you're not gonna stop. You either want these blessings or you don't. Like, because, and it's much deeper than that. It's because whatever, for me, it brings on a type of energy. It blocks blessings. It's this and that. So I have to be mindful and be like, I either have to stop or I'm going to keep going. And it really is, I either want my blessings or I just want to keep going through the same thing. I can't just be like, oh, I'll do it later. I'm getting better. No, I have to do it now.
Nope.
So I want to. So the excellent points. I want to rewind to something that you said, yeah. So in addition to us talking about initiation in terms of it qualifying you in terms of skill and to do this and do that, you touched on an important aspect of initiation that we initiate for various reasons. It's related to our destiny, our health, things like that. And so, I mean, I feel like each Orisha requires its own conversation. Ifa initiation, right? Like, why do we initiate to Ifa? It's not just, oh, so I can become a Babalawo. Like, we call Orumila any Atumori, any Tiu Suwonshe, the one who fixes destiny that's not quite aligned, not quite right. Many people do Ifa initiation because some aspect of what they chose in heaven as far as their destiny needs to be corrected or fixed. And Ifa initiation is necessary for that. You touched on the taboo point. In Ugbeate, Ifa says, Akiji ni kutu kutu, kamamo udu tobi wasileaye. Like, we should not wake up in the morning in Ugbeate without knowing the Odu that gave birth to us. You're speaking about taboos. How do you know that? Yes, you could do Idafa every week, every whatever, but to know your lifetime taboos, you initiate Tuifa, you get those in the grove. And then many people, many different stories we can talk about how many people experiencing blockages, and it wasn't until they went to the grove that they realized, hey, it's because I've been engaging in things that are taboo
Exactly.
for my destiny my whole lifetime. Egg bear initiation. That's something me and you have talked about at length. Some people need egg bear initiation because their
Yep.
egg bear are trying to call them home. Some people have a
Mm-hmm.
husband or a
Yep.
spiritual wife and they need egg bear initiation. Different reasons. Some people need all batala initiation to because, and like for me, Ifa says a lot of dark spaces I tend to go into mentally and emotionally, and that initiation helped lighten that up and kind of pull me out of that darkness. I could talk about all the different research. So I like the point that you made. We're talking about skill and qualification and things like that, which are excellent points too. But for some people, it ain't what you think it is. Some people look at us and they think, oh, you pay all that money to. No, this is needed for my destiny. It's not
Able
about
to save my life.
And also to make a point too is that I would say even with my initiations that I have, they come with more taboos. They come with more rules. They come with more things that you have to stop. Like, I did my initiation, but like now I can't eat spinach, and I love spinach.
Mm.
Now I can't be confrontational. You know, I'm a childish young girl. How you gonna tell me I can't be what? Like, so it's like it's a character building, character destruction of what you think, who you think you are, and it's really not who you are. And you have to then do the work to become who you're supposed to be and who you've always been. And it takes real work. It doesn't. This is, you know what I mean? Yes, I'm proud of these, but the real work and why I'm proud of these is because I have been building and working with each initiation being told I can't do this, can't do that, can't do this, and I've been doing it and being dedicated. That's what makes me proud because people don't realize that that is the background of it. Like you get told, oh, well, you can't have alcohol no more. You can't eat this no more. You can't have chicken, and it's like that's what comes with that. It's not just a ceremony, nice little colors, you look cute, and a nice little name. No, when you get home and you see that chicken, what you gonna do? When you know you can't eat no chicken.
And with taboos, man, they're different for every person. Let me just say that. But there are like even family taboos. There are lineage
Yep.
taboos. You know, there are Orisha taboos, you know, just general taboos of certain deities, general taboos of family, lineage, so on and so forth. So, when I went to an Obatala initiation, I watched him give all of these Obatala type of taboos. And I'm thinking he's done. And then he was like, okay, so now we have to divine for your taboos. I was like, whoa. Like he gave that man so many taboos. I almost went to sleep. It was so many. I was like, uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then he was like, okay, now we're going to divine for his taboos. And I'm like, there more? Yo.
Because each initiation, look, I get nervous. I'll be like, oh, I don't know what they're gonna say this time. I don't
Man,
like.
listen.
I'll be like, because I did Obata a lot. I'm like, ooh, I don't know. I'm not trying. I want to eat my chicken. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Y'all ain't got to worry
But it's
about too
not.
low about a lot of
But
people. Y'all
it's
ain't got to
different for
worry about
everybody. It's different for everybody. Just like you said, like you may have another child of Obatala who can still eat chicken.
right.
Like it's all a part of your
I know no
specific destiny.
pork is like a general taboo of Obatala.
Mm.
That's like
Even
general.
like wearing black, some children of Obatala don't have that as a taboo.
Yeah, I've seen people they wear black all the time and their children are taboo, children of Obatala. But I really see that more as a diasporan thing. And I think it's just trying to reflect Obatala and not trying to like reflect the opposite
Right.
years. Although it's not a taboo, I hear it said a lot. I haven't found any literature to really support it, but I think people are just trying to the wakes in white, and all that. But they're trying to not have you be on the opposite side of that. So I think that may be where they're coming from with that. Uh, so our final question of the night: what does it take to be a priest in Isheshe? I feel like we've been moving toward that question anyway. So, what does it take to be a priest in Isheshe?
I'll just say this. Not just a priest, but to really be indulged in this and go as far as to pay money to really, figure out the path you're supposed to be on, you have to want it. You have to desire it. That's just like an occupation. Like police officers, like even though some of them ain't, they in it for the money, you could tell. But like to really put your life on the line for something like that, you actually have to have a desire, an aspiration to, be better, to make a difference, right? And that is something that if you're yearning for something different within yourself, within your journey in this life, if you felt like nothing else has given you any opportunity to grow or to heal or to, that has to be instilled in you, even deciding to do that. Even if you did do it and you're kind of lost, you have to, at the end of the day, you have to make a decision to go forward and be disciplined. It takes discipline. It takes being humble because you're going to get stuff told about your own character where you're like, oh, no, I'm not like that. No, you have to humble yourself. You have to humble yourself and take heed to the messages. You have to humble yourself, take heed to, the discipline to it. And all in all, you have to love it and enjoy it as well because it's not easy. It's not easy. You can, besides the learning and understanding and the years and years of practice of a thing, you can do years and years in practice and still not be here. And you still question like, why am I doing this? You still question like, why do I have to not eat chicken? Like it's a mindset. It's a mindset. It's beyond a title. It's beyond money. It's a mindset. And it's a transition while you're still here in the physical realm. It's a transition happening in the spiritual realm when you make those decisions. So that's all I.
Hmm. That's a powerful answer. Definitely hard to follow. I mean, yeah, I think you to be a priest or priestess in this tradition, especially one who's going to do work and healing within the community, you really got to give up a lot of your sense of personal um uh whims and wants and things like that. Like you're kind of like a vessel for Ifa, for the Orisha on earth, and a lot of it is like duty. You know what I'm saying? Like you signed up to be a healer, to be things like that. You signed up, like you said, to be aligned with this path, and a lot of it is going to be perpendicular to your particular whims and desires. So you signed up to say, hey, I'm going to walk this path. It ain't necessarily about what I want. If I'm an Ifa priest and I'm divining, every 17 days, every whatever, a lot of stuff Ifa is going to tell me is going to be perpendicular to what I want. And I'm submitting to that. And then I like something, what's the Baba's name? Shango, the Baba that does the medicine retreats in Puerto Rico a lot.
Ifaseye Shango Bukumi.
Yes.
Mm.
I like the way he put it on a Facebook post where he said, as a priest, you are stepping between the Ajuguns and the client. And so it's important for you to be protected.
Not sure.
And I've been a assistant for a long time, 15 years. I've been an assistant, helping with airball after airball, divination after divination, had to be for all the rest of these things. But now within the last year or two, doing some of those things more so for myself, I'm seeing like, woo, this is heavy. Like the amount of protection work and things that I need to do, the emotional heaviness of it all. I'm like, yo, now I really understand the meaning of that status, that you are stepping between the person, the Ajoguns, and whatever other things they have going on, and you're intervening. You're saying, Ajogun, this work that I'm doing, you cannot intervene in this person's life, whether it's at ball, whether it's whatever. I think it's a duty, and I think for all of us, you just got to kind of give up some of your personal concepts of your whims and things maybe that you want to do with your life, and just say, hey, I'm walking this path. And also just knowing that giving that up is really just for the better for you. It's for more alignment with your destiny and with your purpose. But it's a great responsibility. It's something that's an honor for me to do. Like it's an honor for me to watch like people like, one of my goddaughters, I did Hannah Fire for her earlier this year. She's doing amazing job going to Fire every 4 days.
Gotcha.
Hannah Fire for her daughter this weekend as well. Like to me, that's just so beautiful. Like helping be that facilitator to people connecting with their ancestral practices and ways,
Okay.
and bringing the file back into their home. And you know, she gonna do dope things. You know, she gonna be a great Iyanifa one day. But you know, to me, it's just an honor
Sure.
to just be that. You know, so yeah.
And I look at it from a totality type of perspective, because being a priest in this tradition really depends upon what you're a priest of. So all of our priests look different. You know, if you're a Babalawo, you look different from a Babalorisha of certain aspects. You know, like Obatala priests have different responsibilities. You know, Ogun priests have different responsibilities. You know, Oshun priests have different responsibilities. And, you know, Babalawo, probably the most popular, you know, the divinations, the Eboriru, the learning of medicines. But you know, when you're an Obatala priest, you know, you don't have to be a diviner. A lot of people don't think about that, but you don't have to be a diviner. He does have his own divination system with the cowrie shells, but that's not one of the requirements for Obatala priests. They more are based in knowledge. They have a lot of knowledge about their divinity, and they understand the medicines of their divinity, and they understand the stories and how it can impact your life. And then they bring the divination home with that. You know, with Ogun, we don't have a divination system that produces Odu. In my lineage, you know, we use kola nut, but you know, we do have a two caste kola nut system, which we communicate with the divinity. But our priesthood is more, you know, Ijala and Raymond Ja, and the hunting aspects and the medicine and things of that nature. So I would say what makes a person a priest in Isheshe is work. That is what all the divinities have in common. No matter if you're an Egungun priest, no matter if you're an Egbe priest, no matter if you're an Ifa, Shango, whatever, it's work. They have
Amen to
worked
that.
to be proficient in the knowledge that will transform someone's life,
Mm.
not just their own, but other people. And I think that's like when you want to take this walk to become a priest, because there are people that get initiated, but they never really become priest because they don't put in that work to be a priest. You know, they don't put in the work to obtain the knowledge to be a priest. They don't want to work with anybody, and that's your own prerogative. But when you
Mm-hmm.
want to work towards being, you know, a Babalawo, a Babalorisha, an Onishango, and Ologun, you know, all of these titles of these people that hold and create and can make their divinity and communicate with it, you're making a decision that you want to help people. You're making the decision that you want to, like you said, step in the way between our Jogun and this person. You want to see people succeed. You want to see, you know, your people thrive, and you've made that decision that you want to journey that path of knowledge to make that happen. So, to be a priest in Isheshe, you have to have a desire to help people. You have to have the desire to learn and know that you will work on behalf of your fellow man and woman. It's a decision that, you know, like you said, EI, you have to want it. You have to want to be able to do that, because there are going to be some times where the information and the work is going to seem insurmountable. You, but I've been practicing this Odu, and it's man, it's a tongue twister. It's hard. I can't. I'm trying to break it down, and that's when your why is gonna come into play. No different from an athlete trying to win a championship, man. You got to have that why, because you want to be a champ,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And our championship is helping people in the community. And I wanted to say something earlier, because we talk about the self initiates, but I ask people this because, you know, the natural gift thing comes up. I said, do you know who Giannis Antetokounmpo is? And they say, yeah. And I say, okay, you want to be Giannis his rookie year, or you want to be Giannis now? Because
Exactly.
that know this kid's story. He came in the league a skinny, raw, talented kid. Everybody saw the talent. That's why they drafted him in the first round. We saw it. But if you look at him now, he is a monster. He is a beast. he is a terror. He has perfected his craft to the point where people get out the way when he comes down the lane. So do you want to get that? And if Giannis is a Yoruba man, although he did not grow up in Nigeria because of his circumstance, he grew up with his Nigerian parents. So his name, Antetokounmpo, is a Hellenized name. His real name that he was born with is Adetekumbo, which means the crown will come home from overseas. He is literally living his destiny
Yes.
given to him by his parents. He has a Yoruba parent, he has an Igbo parent, but their last name is a reflection of his ancestors, and that he never shies away from his Nigerian side. So that's just an example of someone who is living their destiny. And for people, you never know who's Yoruba on TV, first of all. But when you find out people's Yoruba names, look them up. You'll be surprised how many people that their life matches exactly what their name is. And I'm talking about Akeem Olajuwon. I'm talking about Israel Adesanya. I'm talking about, it's a lot of people you just don't know are Yoruba, but once you learn their names, you be like, he does do that. Because our names have power, it's important. And in initiation, you will receive another name. You will receive a name to reflect, your destiny, where you need to go. So that's another part of initiation. People say whatever, but you're getting like a road map to where you got to go. You're getting a road map to your life and say, oh, I got to go here. I got to tighten up. All over the place. But this is saying, boom, if I just focus and I do these things, I'm going to be successful. And think about, maybe not necessarily you, but your friends in your life that needed that map. They needed that map because they went somewhere else and they wound it up in trouble, in jail, or maybe not. Maybe they wound up getting themselves killed. Like, we have these tools from our ancestors to help us. And, I think about all the time people, that just don't have that map that needs it. And unfortunately, I know people that have, they're no longer on this earth because they didn't do their above. And I don't say that to scare anybody, because that's not everybody's situation. But rarely it does happen where you go on the mat and they say, oh no, this is serious. Hey, I've heard stories with Babalawo not letting the client leave because of what was on the mat. No, you can't leave. We got to do this work right now. If you got to pay me now, pay me the less later. We got to do this now, because if you leave right now, I don't know what's going to happen around the next corner. So when you make the decision to be a priest, you take on that type of responsibility. People don't know we have to do things after you leave, so that whatever was after you don't come after us.
Yeah.
People don't know that, because the Ajogun sometimes they like, oh, you messed up my plans. Now throw up your hands, and now I want you, Now we got to fight. Like, hey,
yeah,
it happens. I'm telling you. So when you make that decision to be a priest, just know, you are in servitude of your man and your woman, and it's work. It is absolutely positively going to be work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bob, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Odu of the day.
Odu of the day. Well, just any story or
Whichever you want to pick. His problem is is not that he don't know any, is which one to pick.
That's true.
I see the look on your face.
I'm trying to think. In my head, I'm trying to think. A story or just a prayer for people or what?
Just the Odu of the day. You can chant the Odu. You can explain the story. However you want to do it.
Okay. My brain is going fuzzy. I've already told a few.
It's true.
I guess I'll reiterate the one that I shared yesterday on my story.
Okay.
The one that just talks about when Orunmila married Iya suffering. It's because you mentioned the word Iyawo, which is what we call someone who, when they're being initiated, is a wife of the Orisha. So I guess I'll share that one that talks about.
Oh yeah.
When Orunmila was going to marry suffering, and it starts like many verses from this Odu. Ibinu odankan suru ni baba iwa agba tuni suru bogoloni, which means like anger accomplishes nothing. Patience is the father of character. An elder who has patience has all things. And so then it says, Diafon Rumila, Baban Lorefe, Iati Sharemo Uluwo. Uluwo is just is different than I gotta get these tones a little bit better. So Uluwo is like your Ifa teacher, master, things like that. But this is Ulu of Iwo town. So it's Uluwo. So Orunmila was going to marry Suffering, which was the firstborn daughter of the king of Iwo town. She was so difficult, she was so toxic, that no one could deal with her, And again, no offense to my Ogun people, no offense to my Shango people, but I believe Ogun tried to marry her. She was so difficult. Ogun said, I can't deal with this. And you can imagine how difficult a woman has to be.
Dang.
I think Shango tried to marry her. Shango said, man, I'm out of here. I can't deal with it. So one by one, she would run every single man off that she would come in contact with. So Orunmila finally tried his hand. He was like, I can do this. So he gets into a relationship with her. She tries everything that she can do to disrespect him and to run him off. She's verbally disrespecting him. He just remains patient, doesn't leave. She stops cooking. She doesn't do any wifely duties. He's like, you know what? I'm not getting frustrated. I'm going to leave. I'm going to stay, right? Because again, Orunmila always goes to Ifa beforehand, right? So in a last-ditch effort to run him off, she tries to bring another man into the bed. And so she bought like a male escort type of thing. And so this guy's laying in the bed next to them. And Orunmila's like, you know what? I'm not going to leave. There's some details of the story of how Orunmila like used some Ifa magic on the guy or something like that, right? But Orunmila endures everything he can endure. He ends up being the only one who could marry Iya suffering. He gets the blessings, and that's kind of what it talks about in the verse. And this is where we get the word Iyawo from, Iya suffering of Iwo town. And so I've had this Odu come out for like 3-4 clients this year. So like many stories from this Odu, it just speaks about patience. I like to say that this is the Yoruba people also teaching us that there's no Iyawo, wife or bride, or there's no Igbeyawo, which is marriage, without the Iya there, without the suffering there.
Without suffering. So you're going to have to endure.
Exactly. You have to endure some difficulty, something, and
you're going to have to hunker down. You got to get through the storm sometime.
So that's the story.
My wife, oh yeah, I know about the storms. I know.
I could talk about that all day. I can talk about that all day.
Oh man.
But yeah, I'll leave us with that story.
I'll do one as well. This is Okbesa. It says Odokbo le Queen ring Odokbo le Queen fon. Difa fun orumela ni jo baba ni un obohun akapo toho ma. Odokbo le Queen ring Odokbo le Queen fon. Ohun ti edu we ni akapo imba. And this talks about how one is praying to hear from their akapo in their daily life so that they may be blessed. The akapo is something that we treasure, but in this instance, it's akapo ifa. So they're talking about their ikin. So it's basically saying the importance of going and worshiping your ifa and having ifa manifest their blessings in your life. The more you work that relationship with ifa, the more you have blessings in your life. It's a good verse that I chant to my king. So you know what I'm about to ask from you, sis.
What's that?
I need one of them so boom stories.
Yeah, so I'll talk about which I think is interesting, even when I learned it. It's from Meji. It speaks about the third Olafin of Oyo Kingdom. Before coming to heaven, he did Idafa because he desired to be so powerful and so known. When he was born, he wanted to be royalty, he wanted to be famous, and the Awo told him that he would be, of course, to do a bow, and he would be so revered and looked up to that he will become an Orisha. So, of course, he was born into the second Olafin of Oyo Kingdom. And throughout his years, he became so famous. And he was born on Shango Day. Keep that in mind. So, he was royalty. He was famous. People feared him. People respected him. When he became the king, all the ladies loved him, and it got so reminiscent. Like they started forgetting his name because his name was actually a Biafine. I'm probably saying it wrong. But basically, they forgot his actual name and started just calling him Shango. So they just said, oh, that's Shango, that's Shango, that's Shango. Even in the midst when he transitioned, he became an Orisha, and they just, kept on with the name Shango. So he became the Orisha Shango. But he's very different from the Orumile of Shango. They're two different people. He basically lived out his destiny because he wanted to be so uh, similar to Shango. That was his destiny. He wanted to be powerful. He wanted to be, feared. He wanted to be heard. He wanted to be a king because he wanted to, what's the word? He wanted to like live his life as the Orumile Shango. He wanted to imitate. That's the word I'm looking for. He wanted to imitate, this powerful Orumile, and people forget to this day that he is the Orisha. The Orisha Shango is not the Orisha Shango. He's actually a Biafine, a Biafine. The Orisha, a Biafine. They just call him Shango because he was so much like Shango, and they actually forgot his name. So, and that is from Okamra Meji.
Yeah, I mean that's a point. That's a good story. That's a point that we talked about the other day about how some of the deeds that we attribute to Orisha were done by actual living people, and they kind of got absorbed into the canon of certain Orisha too. And that's the thing.
Especially with Obatala.
Yeah.
Woo! Mm-hmm. A whole bunch of kings and people. Obalu phone the first, Obalu phone the second, Larry, Orisha Fun. We were like, oh, I'd be like, all these people about to dang.
Yeah, you're right. So that's a great story. Yeah.
Especially.
Multiply.
Well, are there any questions before we wrap up this show? Because I promised we would take questions from the audience. Any questions that y'all may have? We'll take a good 3 of them before we wrap up this show. I appreciate it, Miss Sincere. We're definitely going to be bringing more topics. We got some more to get to from the poll for sure. A lot of people put some good stuff. A lot of people put some good stuff in there in those comments. And if you got any other topics, you know, y'all can hit us on Instagram. I'm Black Panther Mosty. You know, we have Sis is Mystic Amazon. Brother Ade is Ori Ire on Instagram. So you know, hit us up if you got any suggestions, and you know, we'll look at them and see if we can't tackle them on this show. You know, it don't look like we got any questions tonight. Thank you, Sister Mari Shai. Appreciate
Yes,
you.
thank you to everybody. Thank you for coming, and can't wait to have more and more.
Absolutely. We give y'all a break from Sean's pseudo abo slaying. My brother Sean, he got them abos next. We give y'all a little break, man. There go my brother right there. Big ups to Sean, man. Appreciate you do what you do, man. Kim Way, is that Aziz? I gotta watch. I think that's my cousin. This is my cousin Aziz. He is my Senegal cousin. We have one of the same names. He has a name that my father has. My cousin. Yeah, I knew that was Aziz. He's always sneaking in here. Don't say nothing. Don't announce himself. Just sit back listening. See, look out. See, he do stuff like that. Oh man, big ups to you, cuz. Well, we're gonna wrap it up for tonight, y'all. Appreciate you.
Double.
Appreciate y'all for coming out,
Oh,
man.
Dabo, thank you.
Well, double.